Charleston White, he got plenty to say. He's got plenty to say, and a lot of times I agree with things that he says. Sometimes I'm like, nah, brother, you wrong on that one. But hey, it's subjective, right? It is his opinion versus my opinion versus everybody's opinion. But I think Charleston White speaks a lot of facts. Um, Charleston White, a controversial motivational speaker, expressed frustration with the black community, stating he was hating black people due to issues like black on black crime and violence in the community. He criticized the Black Lives Matter movement, arguing it distracts from addressing internal community problems such as the glorification of gang culture in hip hop, which he called a rape culture. White, a former juvenile offender who founded a youth outreach organization, also discussed broader societal issues like woke indoctrination and Planned Parenthood, while defending figures like Diddy and commenting on Epstein's scandal. His provocative views shared on the podcast hosted by Patrick Bet David sparked significant online discussion, with some praising his candor and others condemning his rhetoric as divisive. So I'm only attacking in this video. I'm only talking about his frustration with the black community and black on black crime and Black Lives Matter. So without further ado, Charleston White.
White people don't have to like you, but if you know history, you can conversate with them. They'll tolerate you. If nothing else, just to debate you, and they'll ultimately become fond of you. So, talking and conversating. I want to meet people that black people think is against us, to come back and say if they're really against us. That's how I became a Republican in Texas. After the George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin's verdict, I didn't want to join the hateful Black Lives Matter group. I got a loving mother who says, son, God has no respect of person. So my mother, I don't know hate. I come from a loving home. I don't know hate. I had to come play like I'm hateful to fit in a group of people that's hateful.
I understand.
I didn't want to join a Black Lives Matter group with anger.
You never did?
I never did. I hated it. And plus, I ain't following 3 lesbian bitches nowhere. Not no stud bitches. I might follow a bisexual woman. Yeah, but I ain't following 3 studs.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I ain't following. Yeah, so I wanted to prove to black people, because here I am. I got a youth organization that has been highly recommended to all 254 counties throughout the state of Texas. This is white people that's doing this. I'm part of a national organization called Incarcerated Children's Advocacy Network. These are white people bringing me to Washington, D.C. to help me change laws and legislation. Wow. So I'm saying, man, let me see. So I dressed up one day and went to this Republican executive committee. And I was the only young black there, mouth full of gold teeth. And I kept trying to speak on the microphone, and I ran into Greg Abbott's one of his aides. He said, "What do you want to say?" I said, "Man, I remember this party used to embrace niggas." He was a young white boy, so we could talk this language. He a hip hop white boy. Used to embrace niggas. I want to get him back to embracing niggas, but I noticed the police was starting to profile me and come over here try to see what's going on. He gave me his card. So the next morning, I called down to the Tarrant County GOP Republican Party and spoke to Jen Hall and Shelley Pritchard. I said, "Ma'am, I'm a conservative nigga who just so happens to vote Republican. I'm trying to see are they offended by what I'm saying rather than listen to what I'm saying. Cause I'm delivering it very articulate with manners." I said, "I went to a meeting last night and I was shunned as a black man, mouthful of gold teeth, and I can bring votes in from over here." So they invited me to come down, and they adopted me. They took in my youth organization. So I couldn't, here I am, I'm working in the black community, fighting against black people, but I got all these white people that they say racist Republican. They're sewing into me from the Terrence Star Republican Women's Club. I'm building a relationship with judges where when black people get in trouble, I say, "Yana, he works for me over there." "Oh, he does, Charleston? Show us some proof." So I'm building relationships, because why would I be a Democrat and there's hardly any Democratic judges? And all my people need judges with a mouthpiece. So I found out that white people aren't really racist. They prejudice. We all prejudice. We all ethnocentric ideology that think it's better than others. We just don't understand each other. So I started bringing niggas around, these white Republican people with dreads and tattoos who had murder cases, and they see redemption in these people because they hear the stories. So now we're all partnering together to work with children. We're doing reading programs. So I let I let the divisiveness of America's culture and temperament at the time, George Floyd killing. So, yeah, man, I didn't want to be connected to hate because I was starting to hate, but I wasn't hating white people. I was hating black people. I was watching black people shoot up a 93-year-old woman's house by mistake, and nobody said nothing. I was watching kids get killed, and you have a fundraiser to try to bury the kid, but the gang he died for ain't helping bury him. The black church that he's trying to be buried in is extorting the mother for more money. So, I ain't like that.
Everything that he's saying, I witnessed the same types of things, you know. And when you grow up in a community like that, and then you hear, oh, the justification is, oh, slavery, the white man, the man, da 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 da. Well, I don't see any of this happening when you got gang on gang violence, when you got people shooting up the community and then innocent people, innocent bystanders get murdered. Man, what are you talking about? It's the white man's fault. I never could understand that, you know. And for to hear you know, Charleston say stuff like this, and I've heard other people speak upon the same type of issue. They had the same, or they have very similar experiences, I should say. And it's like, okay, if you don't agree with this ideology, then it's like you're ostracized from the black community. And to me, it's just like, well, I'm ostracized from stupid thinking, you know, whatever. I mean, there's going to be some people that they're going to associate horrible events like this they're going to connect it to racism, people being prejudiced to them, the black man's being held down, and this is the reason why these types of things are happening. No, this is just a built-in excuse that you keep running to, and now the world is getting tired of it. It is like fatigue, like they say, it's fatigue. And it's interesting to hear someone like Charleston White bring this up because I've heard a lot of people now speak about this, and this is something that I felt for a long time. And it's kind of confusing, right? Because we're tribal, so you want to feel like you belong somewhere, even though the ideology you don't totally agree with, right? So you go along to get along. But as you get older and you get away from that mentality and you get away from that type of those types of communities, you start to realize, damn, you know, a lot of this stuff just didn't make any sense. And I was right. I was right in the way that I'm thinking.
So, I went. I was getting burnt out because I was a struggling father trying to help the community. I became the change I wanted to see. I'm a pre-law student at Texas Western University, just started a youth organization. Car broke down, I'm riding the bus to school. People ride by, see me, so I'm embarrassed by being on the bus stop. Can't take my kids nowhere, but I got a heart to help the community. So at some point, you become frustrated and angry, as most community leaders do.
Right.
The lack of support. I figured out a way how to self-sustain my organization. I didn't have to apply for no grants. I knew how to sell barbecue, shake down the drug dealers, stop the prostitutes, say y'all can't sell no. So I would shake down the community. I'm gonna call the police on y'all. Why I need to add white people? And I'm helping us. So black people became my greatest enemy, helping their children. But I'm the ones getting their kids out the juvenile system.
Black people became his greatest enemy while he was helping their children. Wow.
I'm the ones setting up the getting people license back reinstated. I turned away from everybody. I was having a mental breakdown every day, all day. Man, you talking about for almost 7, 8 years, and I'm speaking in legislation. I'm doing trainings for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and I'm trying to maintain my GPA. Yeah, I had a mental breakdown, and this what caused the breakdown. Because I was used as a political pawn from the power structure. They needed a voice like mine that was dynamic, that challenged the black preachers. And I challenged them and I shamed them. So white people grabbed me and made me a poster child. They used me as a voice piece to go out into the black community to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the black community. So at the time, the federal government had just issued out a national initiative to 6 cities that probably could be the next Baltimore riots. So Fort Worth was one of those cities. It was called 21st 21st century community policing. So they kind of want to bring back beat cops, where the cops know the neighborhood, put more.
This is in Dallas.
This is in Fort Worth. So they had this program that the police department developed by way of this national initiative that was called procedural justice. Procedural justice was a new training aspect that was brought to new law enforcement to kind of have them more race sensitive, right? And they needed a black voice to go out. So I was one of the main voices that they used.
Well, it's interesting that last part that he said, if they're going to use you for good, maybe it's not such a bad thing. Maybe it's not such a bad thing. Because ultimately, what you want, Mr. White, is you want peace in your community, right? And I think that those politicians that you're talking about, I think ultimately they wanted peace as well. Because it doesn't look good for those politicians, there for their constituents to be dying. There's no resources there, no jobs, poverty, at all-time levels and stuff like that. So it doesn't look good for them either. So if they could take someone as brazen as you, someone that is bold and in people's face, why not? Ultimately, ultimately, it is led you here. And I think that Charleston White, from what I've seen in a lot of interviews, I've watched a lot of interviews of his, man. I think that the majority of the interviews I watched, he is right. I think he's just spot on. I think people get upset because of indoctrination. It's like we celebrate the villains. We celebrate the villains, man. The people that cause the disruption and the violence in the black community, those people are celebrated and they're put on a pedestal. And because of indoctrination, people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. We've allowed the worst of the community to become the face of the community.